First batch of cider that we've made is bubbling away, so it's fermenting nicely and should be ready to bottle in about 5 days. We've got another 100 litres of juice that we're pasteurising at the moment, so we can put another 2 batches of hard apple cider on and make a few more bottles of apple juice. I've made 1 batch of apple cider vinegar with some scraps from making an apple pie. So it's just the cores and the peel, and I covered it up with water and I added 2 tablespoons of sugar. I'm going to let it sit in here and ferment for 3 weeks, and then I'm going to strain it out and put the liquid back in for another 3 weeks, and I'm going to stir it every 2 days. Hopefully I remember, because I'm shocking with that. As you can see, it's starting to ferment nicely, and I've got these gorgeous little pickle pipes. They make it so easy to ferment. You just put it under the cap of your mason, you put it under the ring, sorry, of the mason jar, and yeah, this lets all the gases out and no bad stuff in. Here we've got two more 2-litre jars of apple juice with some pickle pipes on, and we're going to let these wild ferment and see how they go. It's a little bit of an experiment for next year, and we'll see if the yeast on the outside of the apple is enough to ferment this juice into hard cider. We took the pulp from the first pressing and put them in these bins, and I covered them with water. I was hoping I'd have a little bit of an experiment where I could make apple cider vinegar for our animals. But I'm not 100% sure this is going to work because the apples won't sit below the water. As you can see, it's sitting on top. It's fermenting because it's all bubbly. You can hear it bubble and see it bubble. But I'm not sure if it's going to go mouldy before I can get it to ferment properly. But this is just a bit of an experiment. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But it's smelling like apple cider vinegar, so hopefully this will work. It's really warm. I mean, it's been warm here in the high 20s, early 30s. So hopefully this will ferment for us. It's mainly warm on top where the apples were sitting above, and it's cooled down below. Hopefully this works. So I didn't add any sugar to the animals' apple cider vinegar. I'm hoping it'll just naturally ferment with the sugars that are in the apples. And hopefully it works. It's just a bit of an experiment. So Paul's just about to pull the outer wooden layer off the press. You can see how compacted the apples get. There's still a little bit of juice in here, which will be great for making the cider vinegar, sorry. And this next batch of cider, oh, get out! Madame's coming over to eat the apples. Get out, Missy. Get out, come on. Wait, come on. Come on, Madame. She is one of our old girls. We're keeping her close by so we can fatten her up a bit because she just had a lamb about 3 months ago and she lost a bit of weight. So she's in the house paddock. So what I was trying to say is this next batch of apple cider vinegar is for our personal use inside the house. I want to make some fire cider with it, which has chili and garlic and ginger and all the good stuff in it for winter whenever we feel like we're coming down with a cold. I've got this 20-litre... Wait, get out of it! I've got this 20-litre beer fermenter. It's a little bit more than 20 litres, so that's the 20-litre mark. But I'm going to fill this up with apples, maybe about this full. And then I'm going to top the rest with water. And I'm going to pop a little bit of sugar in this one because it is for the house. I want it to ferment beautifully.
pretty hard.
Now I'm going to put some sugar in this one. I'm just going to guess with my hands because, you know, it's too hard to measure. But I think I'm going to put 10 handfuls in. I think that was 3. I think that will do. That was about 6, maybe 7 by the time it all fell in. I'm going to top it up with water now. This is our rainwater. And I use raw sugar in this too. Make sure you sterilise your containers like you would if you're making cider or beer. So I used unscented bleach to clean this up. Now I'm going to put this plate on top just to keep the apples mostly submerged. It's not going to work 100%, but at least I'm not going to get the whole thing rise up like I did in the animals version of this. I'm going to let this ferment for 3 weeks. Now you will get a white scum on top, like a frothy scum, but if it's green or it smells mouldy at any stage, it's no good. So it should smell fermenty and like apple cider vinegar, appley, vinegary, all that sort of stuff, but if it's mouldy, has a little bit of mould on it, or it smells mouldy, then you need to chuck the whole thing. I'm going to cover this one with some cheesecloth, just to keep all the bugs out, because this is food grade for us. And then I'm going to cover it with this lid. It has no seal, this is why we're not using it to make hard apple cider, but it does have a vent or a hole in it, so it will let the gases escape. But with the cheesecloth there, it won't let any gross bugs in, any apple flies, or sorry, vinegar flies. We've had them hang around the apple press a bit, so that way we can make sure it is nice and hygienic. I was just editing the video that you've been watching about making apple cider vinegar, and I realised that I didn't tell you the entire process at the end. I did mention it earlier on when I showed you the first batch of apple cider vinegar that I made using apple scraps. But what I need to do with this batch, once it's fermented for 3 weeks, is strain out all the apple pulp, pour it back into a clean container that's been sterilised again, and stir it every 2 days for another 3 weeks. And at the end of the 6 weeks, after you've done all that, you will have apple cider vinegar that's ready to be used. We're going to feed the rest of the scraps to the pigs. They're going to love this tomorrow. It's all broken up. It's fairly dry, but I think they will absolutely adore it. We could have made more cider vinegar, but I don't think we need that much, so let the pigs enjoy it, and the worms too if we have any leftovers. But that's it guys, that's how we're going to make our apple cider vinegar with our leftovers from our cider pressings. We'll see you guys tomorrow.